It's your life we are talking about here. It's not in anyone's life. So if you are going to think, say, the decision you take tomorrow or 7 December is about me being happy, then you are making the biggest mistake of your life. And then now ECG in summer ekoso from 2014-15, especially 2015, especially 2016. Na a year Dumso ebaye. Let me move to the side a little bit. Dumso baye. Wa wo hwe me Ghana around the world are Ghana ni. A day asem no mka kire fa Dumso. And the ECG board chair ka kire say Dumso challenges will end in a few days. On say this new guy on the board of ECG Sisiano. Quickly, he has come to tell us to say Dumso will end in 2 or 3 days. Now, say assembly banner will start with some questions, sir. Then they will refuse to give you the answers here. On say boldly, Wabe occupy office. He's throwing things out as the board chair of ECG. Now, it's a light, no. Engineer, among first studies, questioner. This guy will turn around and tell us to say, he is not the one who is supposed to give out timetable. But he's able to tell us when Dumso will stop. You see, sometimes I am perceiving words, but you see these young boys and these people in politics. Majority of the time, I know what you say, when you don't do politics, and I say, when you win politics, and able to say we get pissed off. Because you have been able to tell us, say, the Dumso will stop in a few days. Now, when Dumso comes back, and we are holding your balls and pulling your balls and say, give us timetable. This same ignorant guy will come and tell you he is not in charge of timetable, but he's able to tell you when the Dumso will stop. When you're friend disrespect, no, when a brofumpe, when a oye broni, na se oye politician, I want to be fine ye omomoto abamau. And then they be a catcher movie before say, Mama sa and Kofowe, Efamusam Jimmy. That is the missing point that you people don't get. If you have been able to tell me that Dumso is going to stop in a few days, then when Dumso is intensive, you should be able to provide a timetable. Because you cannot tell me, say, you know when it's going to stop, but you cannot provide timetable. How were you able to tell me how it will stop? Then you know what you have. When we hear people like these speak, and tell us and disrespect us in our faces. And disrespect us on our faces. And every single day, they come on TV and come disrespect us, insult us. This is the board chair of ECG. Now, he has been able to tell us, say, Dumso Ebejai in the next 2 or 3 days. That's fine, yati. Now, see a light name, so then people start coming out and attacking this guy. Is anyone in Ghana going to tell us to say we don't have the right to be questioning then ECG? So, my timetable, Anna. We have the right to be questioning ECG because ECG has been able to tell us that Dumso will stop in 3 days. As I speak to you tonight, I'm not for light to do. As I speak to you tonight, business is closed down because the Dumso. Now, this guy. I was set ultimately when they will produce timetable because Dumso Ekoso. He was newly appointed. He's basically walking in the footsteps of Gajepo. Waba, he's going to show no respect to us. The moment you start to question this guy, they will say you don't respect. We NDC. But there's one thing, the media, some of them, journalists, Omoye. In 2015, especially, Dumso be very intensive. Who you watching me? And now, who are watching me? And then, I'm catching Ghana. I'm say, Mahama na di Dumso aba. Did any journalist sit on TV to tell you, say, especially on radio, to tell you, say, Dumso no a generational problem? Did any journalist in Ghana, majority of the journalists we see in Ghana today, time I do so ABC na about critically.
Asante ni akamfo na the problem of this country. Yet so yen can't.
Time at Doomso 2015, ebe serious wa Ghana. Ana ye nyina ye kase Doomsaba na ye kase John Mahama di Doomsaba, NDC Doomsaba. Obi ka kire say a generational problem say ebia ye ni machines any ade. The journalist omutena TV so ka say Doomso no NPP NDC mismanagement. Mahama mo no mo bokro no, Mahama mo no mo bu Ghana for NDC for the DC kano. Today when these same journalists are speaking on Doomso, they do everything possible to do what? Take out the people who lead the institutions. Now, when it comes to Doomso, from 2015, what say the energy minister and the president, and the main people we were talking to. In 2015, majority of the journalists on radio, we were talking to the energy minister, Kobna Donko. And then after the energy minister, we will mention John Mahama's name. In fact, the way we were basically putting the news out was that John Mahama's appointee, Kobna Donko, who is the energy minister, they have failed because of power crisis. In 2015, the topic was about the energy minister and the president. The name we were using John Mahama and Kobna Donko, to a point that Kobna Donko honorably, respecting the Ghanaian, the voter, the citizen who paid the taxes now, he respectfully said, I have resigned because me Ghana timelines be some solve Doomso no. Nyomana makrasa eba be solve the enyambaye. Into for the meantime, I will step aside. Sir Energy Minister and the Mahama no stepped aside. Still, this same media, majority of the journalists were directing the message to the president and the energy minister. But today, when you listen to them, Ntina Makacham Ghana for dialogue. Kasa incommodie are very important. So obiti TV so eti radio so kasa. Men tie ni sa keke. Take your time and analyze the panasam na okano. Today, obiti say ekuya poki. When they get the opportunity to speak on Doomso, do you know what they do? They will tell you all the sweet things. Aban way, be bold and tell us. Aban way, be bold and tell us. Doomso ba, must Doomso ba. That's a general statement. Today, they fail to mention Ekufuadu's name directly. Today, one thing they are holding their tongue about, anytime they are discussing this intensive Doomso in Canada, they refuse to mention the energy minister's name. You know why? Because they know, say, Omo party no, Baba be NAPO as the running mate. And they don't want to associate NAPO, who is the energy minister, to Doomso or with Doomso. Recently, I was talking to somebody in the States. And this person works with one of the media houses. And I make a chance, so Ghana is on the ready here. And also, you guys, you're having power crisis again because in 2017, you did a story on that. And I said, yes. And I didn't come on. I said, so what are they doing? Bro, Neo. And I'm catching, so they are working on it. There's a government in place. We just want to see what they can do. And Oka said, who is the energy minister? And I'm so Matthew Opoku Prempe. Because I need to read news bar. And I say, in commodity man of so he's being considered. Tie, me catch Sani Pan say, Sani Power energy minister in Ghana today. No, he's being considered by the flag bearer of the NPP to be his running mate. And Anipan say, how? This is the same person overseeing your energy problems, overseeing this crisis. How can you be considering that person who has not been able to, at the end of the day, deliver? Because NAPO has been given a job to do. As we speak today, NAPO has failed as the energy minister. So, which politician Najuniye Juma will sit and say, the person who is failing to provide the energy, to oversee the sector, he is the person I think is competent to be my running mate on earth. And he now who say, time na John Mahama tesono 2015 na yeka se Kobna Donko a oye energy minister. Oh, Kobna Donko bon. Kobna Donko to me sustain power. Na John Mahama beka che Ghana for say I am going into election 2016 and that my dream when we say Kobna Donko a se bi omo ka se ono na di Doomso ba ye on to me solve the super problem no. Kobna Donko ene be running mate. Mo Ghana for then can beka che John Mahama. But today, when these journalists get the opportunity to speak on Doomso, they will speak on Greco. They will speak on ECG. They will blame the government as a whole, they will not specifically mention the person who is in charge of the sector because Napoya Santini, because Napoya MPP, because Mahamudu Bawumia is considering Napo to be his running mate. They know Napo has failed, but they don't want it to be clear that Napo sector now or Tesodo were fairly woefully. Into what they are going to do is they are going to generalize the problem and blame Gridco, blame ECG, blame the government, but never make Napo's name the icing on the cake. Because the moment you put Napo's name as the icing of the cake, the issue is you are making Ghanaians know that Napo has failed. And we all know Napo has failed. Now listen to this lady very well. Tieno. She deliberately avoids Napo, goes after ECG, goes after Gridco, try and talk about the government, but the Napo guy who is in charge, they leave Napo because they know Napo or your Santinia you ever consider as a running mate. Language, I keep telling you people, say Obi a hypocrite. You don't just see it in their face. So what comes out of their mouth today and what came out of their mouth yesterday. And then I say nipano or your cromfo or your dada for or some agenda be. But so when him sadia na debi oba dada overhead the problem so kanya system and so na or read or brain was show. And what juni adie bi anya no kre. Listen to this thing.
You are not communicating to us why there's doom so. Why? Say ECG board say omo pacho obi anfa omo born nche omo na EFS doom so no e be twa very soon. These are the things that we want to hear, but any enough. Beyond the more pacho no. Dear na why ye ka say Bawumia ko Italy. Whoever advised Bawumia so unko Italy ni pa no why anybody. In the middle of a doomsday crisis, you don't go to Italy. Bawumia. In the middle of a doomsday crisis, you do not go to Italy. Miss Rao, with all due respect, Bawumia, in the middle of a crisis, you do not go to Italy. Brapa. Go Italy. So MPP is running away from the doomsday, but you have to face it. This is your issue. I told you we have to say, criticize you, so I know what Kakra. Because sometimes so criticizing the partner, I know who say, and then doomsday ni bia na aba no eno nim Ghana here de Mahama time na generational issue ni enim fidie na ebe no wa kane ana ma Ghana fo anya bi ene de generational issue ye won fidie no ye betimi ama no ye betimi a generate electricity ni bi for Ghana fo ye de ka. That is the truth of the matter. Ye de ka no kra na wo mu na obi asuro so obi abeka no ye de ka ye de IPPs no independent power producers ye de omu nyina ka. We cannot pay. Why can't we pay? This is the one Nakia says, to me, Ministry of Energy. Somebody must be talking. Why are you running away? Mujane say, Mupo, you will do so. It's a Ministry of Energy for no, me say, ya flow, bia, we are see, they are trying freeway, where's you see freeway, where's you see freeway, where's you see freeway. Now, look, your poku cocker be said, I'm for cry dinner terminal. As you bring no generating caniano. There's somebody a whole team, our energy ministry, chief director, so on. We pay all of you, Gridco, ECG, VRA, all of you are in the chain. You are all in the value chain. We pay all of you a salary to fix our problem. So if problem no somebody should be explaining.
So you listen. Utibia Okanikasano. Also Okasana or right now it is the ministry. Who is the head of the ministry? NAPO. Nobody is speaking. She avoided saying that the minister in charge should be held accountable. She didn't go there. Now she says Ministry of Energy. Somebody there must be talking. Who is in charge of the Ministry of Energy? Who is the minister? You are bringing Gridco. She is bringing ECG. She is bringing Vaku. She is bringing all those people. But the person who is in charge of the sector is NAPO. But onye because or a Jandam queen. Jandam I try him and you and a tribe journalism no you because ne dieno no ne busia or ya santini to so no and Bawumia is considering NAPO some vice president a running mate into what she's going to do is she's going to make you think that she's speaking on Ghana's problems. No, she's speaking on Ghana's problems but shielding the problem itself, because if the energy minister or no sector is avoiding or has decided not to speak on the matter, then it means he is supposed to walk. He's supposed to be sacked. We as journalists are supposed to tell the people that the energy minister or NAPO ombu Ghana for into president onjimiya on pamunapo. But we will not go there. We can go after Komna Donko if it's a Komna Donko no NDC for na nam omu yen tafo omu yen kwasia for yen kran for omu yen dienzema for omu yen fante for yen wona for until we can go directly and go after Komna Donko because ono na in charge of energy in Ghana. But today, so who's a Jandam queen we are this tribal peacock or the radio swa what she's trying to let you think and they say problem ni nye nipa ba ko her sector no so problem ECG Grico Valco Dien but we are talking about the ministry because in the first place you were saying said during Muhammad's time it was a generational problem and then there is about money and who is in charge of that ministry, who is supposed to take the fall. You cannot go to ECG and sack everybody at the ECG. You cannot go to Valco or Grico and sack everybody there. But when you change the head of that sector, there will be some changes down there. It goes down and it trickles down. So why have you ignored Napona on the minister? Because and the Sabaumia choosing Naposa and the reanimator. At the end of the resume so as the reanimator of Baumia, he's a failed energy minister. He has failed. Because we are in power crisis and he is in charge of the power crisis. Into why is Baumia even considering the NAPO? These people are shielding a very smelly meat. NAPO or born in politics or born to sell more money. But my Akan brothers teach you my santifua or journalism to semino. They will come, speak, scream, make you think say Ghana problem ni but the main poison on can want some. So Shana, at a point, Bona Pudding, she stopped. How can you speak about Doomso as a journalist in an editorial without mentioning the sector head? How? Are you crazy?